Oh, now we're live. We're live.
Live. Hello.
Wow. Okay. That no AB tonight. Well, nobody's even in here. Here they come. No AB tonight, which means me and B Turn have to figure out a way to produce this thing, and we're off to a hot start. We just went live, in which we thought was live, but we weren't. We were just sitting here talking to ourselves for. Luckily, I noticed quickly. That would have been incredible stuff to go 10 minutes of me and you just talking to nobody. But yes, shout out Kyle Coffee, like and subscribe. We're not to 1,000 yet. I'd really like to get 1,000 YouTube subscribers, folks. Shout out Critter. He was actually first. He was telling you guys to like and subscribe before we even went live. So
What a guy.
He's this week's winner. But we are here to talk about Spring Bill, Portal Bill.
Goat.
The man is on a mission. He said he was going to go out and make moves. He said he was thinking about the offseason during the end of last year. People got mad. Well, he's living up to the expectation because he is – I mean, you can't ask for much better of a haul so far in the portal. And the best thing is he's not done yet. And so AJ Storr, obviously a Jayhawk. I think what was he, like top 3, top 5 portal guy that most people had on their rankings, and just the exact type of guy this team needed, athlete, scorer. Yeah. So B-Turn, how do you feel about the AJ Storr addition, and just really, I guess, overall what Bill's done so far?
Yeah, I'm obviously amped, and like you said, we needed wings. Gonna lose Furphy and Kev, and need some guys that can play above the rim. It's been a little bit. It's been since they won it all with CB and Och, and so yeah, we need big athletic wings that can shoot it, that can create their own shot and play above the rim. So it's massive. He obviously has experience at the D1 level, freshman year at St. John's, 40% three-point shooter, and then last year, second team All Big Ten. So averaged 17 points a game. He hit more threes last year than anyone on KU's roster. So 32% clip from three, not great, but he shot it a little better later in the year. I think he was 37% in March, 10 for 26 in the Big Ten tournament. So he shot it better late in the year, and he had to carry Wisconsin's offense. He had a 32% usage rate. Someone put this on 247 Sports, I believe. He had a 32% usage rate, which compared to J Will was like 30% usage rate his senior year at KU. And then Wisconsin's never really known for scoring it. I feel like they're known for ugly, mudding it up.
Yeah.
And they were top 20 adjusted offense in KenPom last year, and all they did was replace one of their starters with AJ Storr. So, yeah, he had a high usage rate, 17 points a night. He struggled in their one tournament game, but we needed wings big time. And obviously he's one of the best players in the portal. I thought he was going to go through the NBA draft process and get feedback, but obviously looks like he's not. He'll be at KU this coming season.
Yeah, I mean, it's super exciting because I remember watching Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's full of – I mean, they've never been the most exciting team, let's just say that. And I remember watching AJ Storr, and I'm like, how did this guy end up Wisconsin? Like, you don't see these guys. I'm watching these highlights of him left-hand posterizing guys, like just a freak athlete. And the amount of lobs Bill Self's going to run for this guy, whether that's on the inbounds play, the one that we've seen for years, or whether it's just out of open sets in the half court. So he's a great fit. Hopefully the shooting, that's the only, I think if you're sitting here looking and saying, well, we needed shooting, and he was 32% last year, but he was also 40% the year before as a freshman at St. John's. So I think it's possible he can make shots. I think it probably hurt him a little bit that he was so highly used. And so, I don't know, he was the guy that had to do everything. So it'll be interesting to see him surrounded by other guys. And from what it sounds like, I don't know for sure, but I don't think Self's done. And I think the extra addition that could be coming is a shooter, right? Like,
yes.
Is that where you're leaning?
Yeah. Should be this weekend, honestly. I don't know when it's going to be officially announced, but yeah, Bills in deep with a shooter that played in the Final Four a few weeks ago. So it's super exciting. They've added Zeke, who hit 90 plus threes last year and 80 plus the year before. AJ Storr, who showed he can make threes in the Big East and in the Big Ten, and then looking really good with Rylan Griffin at Bama. So that's a guy who 39% from three last year.
Yes.
And he was on fire in the tournament. I forget what the exact numbers are. Also, 81% free throw shooter. Same with AJ Storr last year. I know KU fans love complaining about Bills teams and KU teams not being able to shoot free throws. That's two guys that are 80+% from the line just last season, and two guys that can shoot it. Rylan Griffin, obviously a starter at Bama, Final Four team. Like, I don't know how you can think of a better haul in the portal without Griffin. Like, you go get Zeke, Kugel, and Storr, and then you're going to add a starter from a Final Four team.
Yeah, and you're convincing clearly these guys have not all been promised starting spots. Like Kugel or Mayo, I'm sure AJ Storr knows he's starting, but like Kugel or Mayo could still be sitting there thinking, well, I don't know if I'm going to start. And that's what I love. I remember on this pod a few weeks ago with UNAB, I said, I want to get back to the times where the bench is full of guys that you think could play 30 minutes a game at other schools. And that's how it's going to feel this year, especially if you go get a guy like Griffin, especially if El Marco returns like we think he likely will, seems like. Not to mention you're going to have a guy like Badinga. I forget. Is that how we say it? Badunka? Badinga?
Who was our Springer when he was our producer?
Oh, yeah. He was convinced it was Badunga. But I think
forget.
it's Badunga? Oh, my God.
Think so,
I don't know.
Flory
I don't know.
Badunga.
Flory. We'll call him Flory for now until we figure it out.
That's why I kind of was thinking about Zach earlier today, and I know he's been kind of a popular name in the portal, but I almost feel like you kind of got to keep him around because then you're so thin in the front court. You obviously don't want Hunter playing 35, 40 minutes. You either give him breaks, and I know the staff and KU fans are really excited about Flory, but we've talked about freshmen, and I feel like it puts a lot of pressure on him, and you're one injury away from only having two bigs on the roster. So I feel like it makes sense for Zach to stick around. I guess with El Marco and Jamari, I definitely have a hard time seeing Jamari get playing time whatsoever next year.
Yeah.
So kind of feel bad for those guys. I know can't really feel bad because it's just competition. Dude's got to step up and start hooping. But I guess like El Marco, he'll be behind Juan, Zeke, Griffin, and then obviously the same guys you can say with Jamari, and then you add Storr, Kugel. So it doesn't sound like anyone's touching the portal for us, but I guess that could change maybe if they do decide to add one more guy. I think they're out of Scully's if Griffin commits.
Yeah. I think if you can convince Jamari to redshirt, which I know we're in a scholarship situation, so you got to kind of be you got to make sure if you're keeping a guy like that around that you truly believe he can be a star or maybe not a star, but a very big contributor for this team in the future. So I don't know. We'll see about that. I'm excited about El Marco being back. And I know we've made our jokes. We've seen some horrendous moments, but also I think there's going to be something about the talent level at these practices that's going to help a guy like El Marco, that's going to help a guy like potentially Jamari. But that's what I'm excited about because who knows? What if El Marco does take a huge step and we're sitting here in November saying, wait, what if El Marco is just as what if he's competing for the 2 spot? Or what if he is so good that you need him on the floor in the second half of a game and one of those other guards sits? I doubt that's going to be the case, but having that type of talent on the bench, knowing that that's a potential possibility is so much more exciting than just being like this second a starter leaves the floor, production's going to plummet. And it's just going to be a whole different feel. And we haven't even talked about, like, I've seen people talking about Passmore and
Yeah.
LeBaron, and I know there's questions. But it just having depth and having options and being able to throw different types of lineups out there, that's so exciting to me, and I officially can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. They're talking about Riquise Passmore. People obviously hype him up. I think he was 48% from three
Yeah.
during the summer or last summer. So yeah, we got freshmen coming in, LeBaron. I don't even know how to say his name, LeBaron Philon.
Yeah.
He'll be a freshman, which, yeah, you talked about it, question marks there. I really have no idea what's going on. But if you think about it, it's like you have Juan here for one more year, and then if El Marco sticks around, he could take over at point. They have Acuff coming in town this weekend, number one point guard in his class. KU looks really good with him. If he commits, he ends up potentially being the starter next year. So you could potentially be looking at LeBaron starting as a junior, or maybe he does redshirt. I don't know. So the question marks do make sense for him potentially not coming to KU. Obviously, he just balled out a couple weeks ago. They won like the national championship or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is kind of a worry that he could kind of be looking at this, thinking that he's behind a lot of guys. Because then I guess you could say he could be a ball handler next to like an El Marco or Acuff next year. But then you could have Kugel back, you could have Griffin back, like those. That's kind of the cool thing about Griffin and Kugel too, is they're not going to be seniors.
Yeah.
And we always talk about Bill's best teams being guys that stick around. So if they could have guys like Kugel, obviously I'm sure Storr won't be back, but guys like Kugel and Griffin stick around. His teams are always elite when there's upperclassmen on the roster.
Yeah. I think, I mean, if LeBaron is decommitting because of a freshman that would come in a year, then it's like, okay, I don't know if that guy was necessarily cut out to be the starting point guard at Kansas. Like, he should be able to look at it as, hey, I'm going to go play with a bunch of talented guys this year, and I'm going to be able to step in and play right next to El Marco next year. Like, that should be his thought, not, oh no, what if this freshman's really good in a year? So I don't know. I'm not saying he's thinking that way, but if competition's scaring dudes away, it's just like, that's not a good side from the jump. So
yeah,
I saw some comments about Clements, and I do want to talk about it because a few weeks ago I did hear rumblings that Zach Clements was like very impressive in practice, but I wasn't going to go public with it. I mean, not that I'm like some scoop master, but it was just somebody that had said, like, I heard Clements really good. Well, I'm like, I'm not going to go public with it because you always hear these things like, oh, this guy, if he was playing this year, he's the best player on the team. Like, we hear it all the time. But then Self came out and said it at the banquet. And I'm kind of talking myself to being totally okay with Zach Clements being the backup, considering you also have Flory right there. Feels like one of them could be good, right? One of them could be ready to make that step in. If Clements isn't, then it's just like, what are we doing? But I got to believe if we're bringing him back, he could be decent.
That's why I feel like he has to be back. I talked about the front court being thin. If not, I remember Vern talking about us potentially going after a backup big in the portal. I don't even think they attempted or really sniffed doing that, which kind of I think they have confidence in Zach and Flory. And I heard the same thing about Zach in practice, which kind of shocked me, but they said he's a scorer. And yeah, I think he can stretch the floor too. I know he's taken some difficult threes in the past that we've made fun of. I know the game against Wisconsin in the Bahamas, but I remember him hitting big time threes in Big 12 play as a freshman. So he's been here under Bill for a while. And we talk about players improving under him. So yeah, I think Zach will stay, and I think Zach will be fine. And I just wrote down the roster, like at each position, breaking it down. And we have 12 guys. I just wrote down 12 guys that Juan, El Marco, LeBaron, Zeke, hopefully Rylan Griffin, Riley Kugel, AJ Storr, Riquise Passmore, KJ Adams, Zach Clements, Hunter Dickinson, Flory. 12 guys. And I just love how Bill just attacked the portal right away instead of sitting around and seeing who's going to stay in the draft, who's going to leave. Like he immediately went and got Google and Zeke. And now there's no question marks about depth at all. Like last year, if there was one person to get hurt, that team was going to be fucked. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened. One of their best players got hurt and they were screwed and they had no depth. And when he was hurt, there was no one that was ready to step up. Obviously, Timberlake was not a good fit under Bill. Now you have literally, I just named 12 guys that can play. So it's like if you do, you kind of have to prepare for injuries regardless. So it's like if you do deal with an injury or, I don't know, suspension randomly or just anything like that, you have guys ready to go, hoopers on the bench.
Yeah. And what's exciting to me is I think it's really easy to look down at the starting lineup right now and just say it's going to be DeJuan, Zeke, Storr, KJ, Hunter. I feel pretty confident that could be the opening day lineup. But I think we have enough guys that it's like, who knows what this starting lineup could be by January. It's like if you do get a Rylan Griffin, I think we're all pretty convinced KJ's not coming off the bench, but what if Rylan Griffin's checking in for him?
Yeah.
4 or 5 minutes at the first TV timeout. Like that's what I've always wanted. KJ can start, keep letting him start. And if he's a fit for that game and that matchup and things are going well, let him keep playing. But if we're seeing
look at AB's comment.
Yeah, AB's in the chat.
John Doe said, "How did the pool care business treat you today?" He said, "Miserable, John."
Why is he in the chat but not on this pod?
That is such a good question. Sorry for interrupting. Where were you going?
Like the whole KJ thing. I've seen a lot of people being like, okay, here's starting lineup, and they're putting KJ coming off the bench. I still will have to see that to believe it, but I think it's officially realistic to think that, oh my God, AB distracting.
While you do that,
I'm sending the link.
I'll just talk, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's God. What were you saying? Oh yeah. Baylor. That's why I make this comparison to Baylor all the time, and I've said it on this pod all the time. But Mark Vidal and Flo Thamba started every single game for that national championship Baylor team. But it's not like they were playing crazy big minutes. Like Flo Thamba was like 17 minutes a game. Vidal was right above that. They averaged like 4 points a game, but they had guys like Flagler, Matthew Meyer. Shit, did LJ Cryer get minutes for that team?
Yeah.
All those dudes came off the bench, and it was just instant offense. And obviously, when we have our rotations coming from the bench, they're gonna kill.
Yeah. What I'll be curious to see is like we always say, Bill Self doesn't play more than 7, 8 max come March.
That's where I was about to go.
And I still kind of believe that could be true with this team. But if you just think about the starting 5 that I just laid out, DeJuan, Zeke, Storr, KJ, Hunter, you assume a backup big has to get minutes, or maybe you're shifting KJ at times to a backup. I don't know. I don't think that's realistic from a rebounding
I mean, you look at that. You look at that starting 5, and then obviously Rylan Griffin and Riley Kugel should see minutes too.
Yeah,
maybe one of them's on the outside looking in, but that's 7 right there.
Oh boy!
And then Hunter can't play 40 minutes.
Fresh off the job.
Pool.
What's up, gentlemen? Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah,
sure can.
Crispy.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to stay too long because I want to die right now and go to sleep. But I just wanted to say hi to the boys.
Mm-hmm. Good. Wow. You look like you worked hard today.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that we all know this, being Kansas City residents. The fact that it can go from like 80 degrees the last few days to about 42 today, really just makes me question everything about this godforsaken town. So yeah, but it is what it is. It's April, which means it's pool season, so that's where I was. I'm sorry I couldn't join you guys from the jump, but figured I'd check in. I saw you guys started early, and I thought I'd say hi.
Yeah, so John F. And actually, you probably can't see the chat. Let's Go Cards said, "What a sexy man." So,
Oh, what a guy! I don't
Yeah.
like the team that you root for, but thank you.
yeah, well, yeah, true. AB or John F said, "AB rapid fire take on AJ Storr. Go."
I mean, it looks like he scored some points last year. He's 6'6". I think my honest to God take when I saw it, and I don't know what you guys have talked about, so I'm sorry if I've repeated anything. I think this is pretty much the nail in the coffin that Furphy's gone. No,
Yeah, I think
and I
I'd
think that
agree.
was expected. But like the fact that we're pretty much strictly going after guards and wings, kind of to me tells me all I need to know with his situation. So would love to have him back. If he doesn't get the greatest feedback wants to come back, that's great. I just don't know how likely it is with everything that everyone that's committed to the portal so far.
Are we sure? Now this could be controversial, but like, I think AJ Storr could be better than Johnny Furphy.
Could be.
Now, I think the ceiling's much higher with Furphy, but there was no guarantee that he was, like we said, he could make an Ochai type jump, but he's still young. So, like, who knows if he actually would have. So, I would have loved to have Furphy back just because he's such a lovable guy. You love having the guy from Australia named Johnny. He's just a great guy to have on your team. But Storr is a proven scorer guy in college. So, I'll sleep better at night knowing we lose Furphy, knowing that AJ Storr is stepping into that spot.
Yeah, it just go ahead, Braden. Sorry.
And also Storr's obviously under a better coach now, a guy that can really develop talent, and he's not going to have as much pressure on him to score it. I think his percentages will look a lot better, and he can turn himself into a first rounder easily just by coming to Kansas. So obviously we wanted that Furphy jump, and I think we would have gotten it, but you're not falling off, at least, is what I'm trying to say. Like, from getting a second team all Big Ten guy that averaged close to 20 a night last year.
Yeah. AB, before we let you go, unless you
well, there's one more thing on Furphy, and Ryan, you said this during the season. It does suck that he's going to be the smallest footnote on this program we've ever seen after being so excited for him.
Yeah, I know. Like, in 5 years, Johnny Furphy will hardly be, unless he's like a star in the NBA, we won't even think about Johnny Furphy. It's like he's like borderline Shaq Diallo. I mean, he played a lot more, but like, talk about a guy that was just a blink in the eye at Kansas.
I was gonna ask AB. We just talked about our depth chart. We literally have, if Rylan Griffin commits, we have 12 guys that can just straight up play basketball. We talked about the rotation. We always talk about Bill getting it to 7 or 8. You think it could be difficult for him to do this year?
Are we going to fall for this, AB? Are we going to convince ourselves Bill's going to play 9 or 10?
I mean, I'm sure he will early on, but I think by the time he gets to late conference play in the tournament, it's going to be boiled down to 8, maybe 9, but the 9th is going to play like 5-6 minutes or be back up for someone for foul trouble. Would be my guess. But I don't. Maybe he's changing his ways. I don't know.
One more question for both of you is, do you get, I know we don't have like lottery pick surefire first rounders, but we didn't really know that going into that season. Do you get 2022 vibes from this team? Same point guard. You're going to have a couple big-ish wings that can shoot it. Obviously, KJ will start, but there's going to be times where there's 4 guards around Hunter, which was kind of the same thing in 2022 around Dave, where you had CB, J. Will, Och. We could get into lineups where you have Zeke, you have Storr, you have Kugel, Griffin, Juan. Like,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what Hunter can do and what his efficiency will look like when he has the entire paint to himself.
Yeah. The amount of different lineups we can throw out there is going to be extremely exciting. Now, I will say we got to finish this up and get Griffin, because Storr and Kugel are not solving the shooting problems right off the bat. I mean, a little bit, but
just percentage-wise. Like, I was looking at Kugel, and he was 19 for 48 from 3 in SEC play, 40%. I know that's a smaller sample size, and then I told you Storr, 40% from 3 as a freshman. And then in March, he was 37% from 3. So he was 4.5-ish attempts a game last year for Wisconsin. I would guess it's a little, but yeah, it's not like deadly knockdown shooters, what they're known for. Like, Rylan Griffin hit 74 threes last year. Zeke Mayo hit like 95.
Yeah. And here's the thing, and AB, we have 2 questions from the chat that people are dying. Actually, multiple people are dying to hear from you. So we'll get to those in a second. But the last thing I want to say about these transfer portal guys is like, for this to go wrong, for this to somehow go wrong and us to miss on these guys, that would mean that Bill Self and his staff would have had to miss on Arterio, Timberlake, Kugel, Mayo, Griffin, and Storr. Like, 2 of those guys are going to be really good, is what I've convinced. Like, we're not going to just get unlucky and have dudes suck again like we did last year. So that's why I'm feeling good. It's simply law of averages. Some of these guys are going to be absolute studs, and if they're all studs, we're winning the national title. So just wanted to say that. Now, on to the important stuff. John F. and John Doe. I don't know if they're the same person, or I don't think they are, but
John Doe's actually John Furphy.
Yeah. Well, John Furphy needs to know AB's dinner plans, and John Doe just says, AB, what are you going to have for dinner? Just simple question.
Guys, I haven't even thought about that for a second.
As always.
I should. They said they closed the one in Olathe. What's even the point of living anymore? Legendary establishment. I don't know. Do you guys have any suggestions for me? I feel like I'm the only one that throws consistent food talk out here, and I understand why, clearly. But I would like to know if anyone has any suggestions where I should go, what I should make. Because right now I'm thinking a PB&J might be it. Then I go to bed.
I'm feeling pasta for you.
Yeah, what kind of pasta? What kind of sauce?
Like chicken Alfredo, obviously white sauce.
Basil pesto on there.
My God. Canes. John F. says, John Furphy says Canes. Let's go.
Both
Cards
of them said
Canes. John Doe said Chipotle.
Oh, yeah, we have to do this before you maybe log off. But do you have any K-State rants?
Well, I mean, it was the revenue thing today was just hilarious. But I luckily have avoided all the talk today because it seems like there's been a lot. Every time I get on Twitter, it's something on the For You, whether it's KU or K-State, bitching about stadium stuff, and it's exhausting to deal with. And I hope I wasn't the one that sparked it, because I was just trying to make a simple joke. But it's just, what are we doing? We need sports back, man. I said this, I think 2 episodes ago. If we're already arguing like this on Twitter, it's April 17th, 18th right now. Like, we don't have a game of significance between the 2 schools for 5 months. It's going to be the longest fucking time. I don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with it. I get it's funny at times, but when it turns from jokes to just like this most serious revenue talks, it's just like, what are we talking about, guys? Like, just chill out. Just go enjoy it. It's not a nice day today, but it's about to be nice outside. Just enjoy your life. Just take a break from talking shit all the time.
Wow.
There you guys go.
But it's just annoying, you know. And I'm not even just KU fans are just as bad. It's so exhausting.
I can't even, it's a hard task for me to keep up with all the KU news. Like, I'll get out of meetings and I'll scroll Twitter and be like, wait, what's happened? Like, or I'll get on the Discord and I'll be in a group chat. These guys know more about the KU renovation than I do about the Kansas football team overall. Like, the entire team.
Well, the thing is one burner account gets a text from a friend's cousin's sister's boyfriend's mom's aunt who has a connection 4 different ways in some construction company, and all of a sudden that's the only source you need on KU Stadium news. It's just, shut the fuck up. It's just, I didn't want to be triggered about a stadium that's not going to be ready for another half of a stadium that's not going to be ready for another 18 months, because I feel like people are forgetting that the whole thing is not supposed to be done in 2025. I saw a lot of that earlier where people are, it's not on schedule. It's just let it happen. Like, no one cares. Like, it shouldn't be talked about by KU and K-State burner Twitter as much as the fucking athletic director and general contractors on the damn job. Like, just let it be. It's going to be fine. In 2027, the project's probably going to be done. There's going to be a new stadium. Hopefully, we're still good at the sport and Lance is still kicking. But God, man, I'm sick.
I will say, I think I don't know, somebody in the chat can correct me, but I do think there was some concerning things, like our the capacity was supposed to be 47,000 and now it's going to be like 40. I think due to interest rates and other factors, things are kind of like slowing down on how quickly some of it's going to be done. So it's not, I would say, perfect, but like I saw Vern and Bry say that they still have heard that things are going fine. But yeah,
perfect.
That's completely separate than what you're talking about. The guy with the, aunt's mom's boyfriend's burner account tweeting like, I've got sources and this stadium's going to fall down. Like it is what it is. It's funny.
I think
well, top 10 in the country in total revenue, the Kansas Jayhawks. K-State clocked in at about 72, something like that. But we're the poor school. We're the poors that can't make any money. Go do something in a revenue sport. Well, fuck off, brother. Sorry that we lead the nation in NIL spending and we clearly make more revenue than you guys by more than double. So we can live with that.
There we go. That's what we needed from him. We'll that was great. If you want to end there, we can let you go. But if you want to stay, feel free to stay.
What else you guys got to talk about? Because I don't have many roster tags. So if it's just roster stuff, I don't know that I'll stick around. If it's you guys have other stuff planned, I might stick around for a few. But
let's see. I mean, we've covered most of the roster stuff.
Did you see Bry's comment in here at the top of the hour, top of the show?
Yeah, what position would AJ Storr play?
In all caps
on football.
He said, like, talk about AJ Storr being a D end or something.
I just want to know. Sorry to interrupt. Garrett Johnson has posted Brandon Green, 2015 Brandon Green, like 7 times in the chat. Like the guy loves 2015 Brandon Green. But
the best shooting performance in Kansas history.
Who are we comparing him to, Garrett?
I think it's the Bray guy, and he is right. Like, I'm pretty sure Brandon Green shot 50% from the floor or from 3 his junior year.
Kobe Bray.
He's not coming.
Listen, though. Just listen to this. Kobe Bray, 100 for 201 from 3 last year.
That's crazy.
Insane.
That's insane. I didn't know it was on that much volume.
100 for 201. 201.
How many threes did our team make last year?
I don't know, because I'm pretty positive Zeke. I'm pretty sure I looked this up, but Zeke made more last year than any 2 players on our roster combined. So Kobe would obviously be the same thing, but I think Griffin, I mean, no, I don't think there's any worry there. Like, I think Griffin is basically committed. Like, he'll be at KU this year. I would assume they're done after that. I don't know your guys' take. Maybe one of our guys hits the portal because they don't see playing time, like a Jamari or El Marco. I don't know, but do you think they could still add one more, like a Kobe Bray? I know there's a lot.
I saw a tweet from someone saying that Kobe Bray is like KU's not interested anymore after the what's his name, whoever Storr signing.
Yeah, but
I can't remember who tweeted that, but
B-Turd responded with a bunch of blue caps to that guy.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't change anything though from like what we've heard about Bray, because I think we all knew Storr was in the fold, you know?
Yeah.
And Bray wasn't going to come here and start regardless. So if we were interested already, like, he would have probably been behind Zeke and Griffin and
I don't know what self's telling a guy like Bray at this point, because if you get him prior to the Griffin signing, then, like, I don't know, maybe you stop going after Griffin, but it sounds like we're probably going to get him. I don't know. Things change quick. We thought Liam was a lock, but like,
Griffin's a lock.
I just don't know what you say to these guys when it's like, yeah, we did go get 3 other guys that play your position. Liam Neeson. I about actually said that as his name.
Yeah, they are not in it for McNeely. So
yeah,
I don't even think they're recruiting him. But
fine with me. Freshmen ain't doing it.
But yeah, I guess that does make sense that they couldn't sell him on playing time regardless, and I'm not really sure what his role would be. I don't know.
I mean, it would be 2015 Brandon Green and our guy Garrett, who's screaming it from the rooftops. Like I think he's just sitting there. 2015 Brandon Green.
Well, because
It's like Bruce Almighty responding to prayer requests.
One of these really talented guards is already not going to start.
I know. Yeah. So,
can I ask a question that we've been talking about for 3 months now?
Mm-hmm.
Confidence level, knowing that 3 of the starters that we said don't fit together are still going to be starting together.
Yeah, I just don't envision any scenario where KJ doesn't start. Like I can't even talk myself into it. I think he starts, and then maybe he's not going to see as many minutes.
That's the thing. It's not going to be 32 minutes apiece anymore, but they're still going to be on the floor together quite a bit. You got to think.
But it's so clear to me that Bill, like, not that he didn't see this, but we all said it. Bill saw what this team needed, and he's going to do it. He's not just going to roll out KJ Adams for 35 minutes a game at the 4 after going out and getting the guys he's getting. And if he is, it's like, what are we doing? Like, that would be infuriating.
Because I guess if you just from Juan, Storr, and Hunter's perspective, how many minutes do we think those guys will all play? Like you would think 25, 30, right?
Oh, I think Juan's going to play his 30. I think Juan's going to play a lot.
Like 35. I feel like Storr's probably your high-level scorer that has potential to go in the first round. That's probably going to see. Wouldn't you think Storr is kind of locked in for 30 minutes a night? Or do you kind of envision someone else?
Yeah. I mean, how many guys are going to play 30 minutes a night, though?
That's what I'm.
If we're really that deep, I mean, I think Juan probably does.
But I guess going back to Juan in 2022, you kind of look at his game logs in the tournament with Remy, which we're going to have instant offense off the bench, where Juan was kind of around that 25-minute sweet spot a game, which is kind of perfect.
Yes.
25, 30, come in, defend, take care of the ball, get guys open looks.
Who's the second ball handler? Is that a stupid question to me to ask?
I think it's Zeke, but
yeah, this is why this was like one of my scenarios, and I don't know if we're getting Bray, but can you imagine you start Juan, Zeke, Storr, KJ, Hunter, a couple minutes in or whenever into the game, you bring in Griffin and you bring in Bray, and Zeke's running the point. You have Zeke, who hit 93s last year, Griffin, who hit 74 threes last year, Storr, who hit about 50, and he's a big wing, and then Bray, who hit 100 threes last year. Those 4 surrounded by Hunter.
Yeah, it'd be absurd. Like, that would be the most fun lineup. And if that were the case, the problem with KJ, and I don't want to pile on with KJ, but like, if you have that many options for shooting, and I guess defense plays a part, but it's not like you're losing rebounding when KJ leaves the floor. So
you're losing a lot of heart.
Yeah, you are. And that's like a joke, but it's also very true. You're losing a guy that just cares a lot and plays hard and will make the right decisions defensively. But if we somehow did roll out a lineup like that, B-turn, and we started to see that work, it's like, how do you not play that more often?
That's 3 guys that hit 74 plus threes last year, all at 40% from 3. Bray was 50, obviously. 2015 Brandon Green.
Yeah. I mean, that you got to do, like John Doe did point out, like, defense matters, and I don't think Kobe Bray is going to show up locking guys down. I don't think Rylan Griffin. Like, let's not forget Rylan Griffin played for Alabama, who does not care about defense.
Yeah.
What's
going on with Alabama, by the way?
I don't know.
That's crazy that Nate Oates just like immediately said no to Kentucky, and they go to a Final Four, and now everyone's transferring.
It's got to be NIL, right?
Maybe, but
tell me Bill's not a gangster for that.
Yeah, but they also lost the other guy, the Pringle.
Byron?
Hey, we're back, baby.
I knew it.
I might just get a can of Pringles for dinner. Sounds kind of good.
Wow.
Nutritious.
I love your background right now. I just love it.
Just beautiful. Sitting in the old truck, just not wanting to go up the stairs.
I know we kind of touched on this earlier, Rye, but it does. We're going to be preseason 1, but it does have me
God
excited.
damn it.
I mean, there's no doubt.
Are we sure?
Rothstein has Houston 1 after you guys
Wow.
both told me that Houston wasn't going to be very good next year.
Crier and Shed,
Shed's back?
I believe so.
No. I thought
He's
Shed's
not?
leaving.
I think Shed's like the only one not coming back.
How would they be 1 though?
Yeah, I know. Rothstein's a lunatic if they think, did we watch that team
I thought
against Duke without Jamal Shed? Like,
I
if
thought
that guy
we
ain't back
talked
him
about
out.
potentially going and getting like a Shed in the portal. I think he technically has a year.
Well,
But
you kept telling me we were getting LJ Crier.
He stayed.
And Boogie Ellis, who ran out of eligibility.
Yep.
They
On
got
fire.
someone else in the portal, though. I mean, I'm not going to lie, boys. My knowledge of college basketball players that don't play in Lawrence, Kansas, slim to none. So I don't know who they got, but it seems like they're going to be better than,
But let me tell
18th
you,
in the country.
Here's who's going to be number 1 over us. It's Duke.
Have you guys talked about that yet?
Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag is so sick.
In Vegas?
Why is that game in Las Vegas, Nevada?
Yeah,
So annoying. We play them every other few years.
Yeah, like what's
Already.
the point? Now, I will
so
say,
annoyed by that.
November is going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And also, I saw Big 12 Big East is done, but apparently they're doing it this year, and then it's done after this year, so we'll probably go to UConn too. So we're looking at a non-con with UNC first game of the year on a Friday. Then we go to Champions to play Michigan State. And later that month we get Duke. In early December we get UConn on the road, and then we get at Mizzou. Like, we got some big non-con games, boys. And I don't know if we're in a preseason tournament or not. Sure we are. I can't remember the last year we
I don't think
weren't.
we are, actually. In chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're kind of doing the Duke game, the UNC game. Maybe we're doing some like the
CBE Classic or something.
or like
bullshit.
a Jimmy V. I don't think it's Jimmy V, but like one of those where it's just kind of like you play on a night, a showcase type game. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be fine with me because the rest of the schedule's pretty sick, but I don't know, man.
No, but what I was getting to earlier before I said preseason number 1 is just looking forward to 25, 26. You should have some depth that following year. I'm just saying you're getting guys from the portal that aren't just going to be here for 1 year.
Yeah.
Like you could potentially have Griffin, Kugel. You'll still have a lot of the freshmen back. Like that's why one of the benefits of having that much depth is just having guys that are going to stick around as well. So, because you're going to lose what? You lose Juan, Zeke, KJ, and Hunter after next year, and potentially like a Storr and whoever goes pro. So,
not to get ahead of ourselves, but like
I'm just saying it's
think
nice
about
to have guys that stick around.
Think about those guys being back, and then you go out, you add like a major center in the portal again, and you surround them with like, I don't know. We hate this new world of college basketball is very stressful. It's crazy. It's chaos. It's broken.
Yes.
But it is damn fun when Bill Self is your coach, and you know that in the spring he's going to out recruit anybody.
I got questions. One, in general, what's going on with Arizona? Two, why did Bello schedule 3 back-to-back visits and then just commit within 10 seconds of landing in Bloomington?
I think Indiana's got
Ballo,
I
whatever
think they've got a good NIL.
I'm sure, but I mean, I'm not mad.
Lee Marshall
Skipping his
just said
K-State visit.
Darius Acuff and Darren Peterson 2025. I don't know what's going on with DP. Like I thought KU was looking really good. His dad was on the visit with him at Kentucky in the full Adidas jumpsuit. And then now it sounds like he might be like a Nike kid. So I don't know what's going on with him, but Darius Acuff visited last month for the K-State game, and he'll be here this weekend in Lawrence. So obviously
good he saw the
interested.
K-State game. That was like the best game we saw in the final month of the year.
He's consensus top 5 player in that class and number 1 point guard. He's insanely skilled. Like
we're pretty due for a freshman that's sick.
He is fucking good.
Let's finish with this. We are so due to be the preseason number 1 team in the country and actually live up to it. Like dumb brain analysis, AB. At what point can you go in preseason number 1 and just like the odds are in your favor to not suck.
But it's not just us that struggles with it, isn't it? Like a college basketball as a whole, preseason number one is never that special.
You'll quit. Oh my god.
Yeah, go ahead. Chew that ice, baby.
Good radio.
Yep.
There's a crazy tweet out there. I think Derek Johnson tweeted it. And this is going to be really bad as I search this. So why don't you guys just riff a little bit? Earlier, B-Turn said he was going to riff while I sent you the link, and then he said,
what'd you say?
No, I
forgot what you said.
I caught that one. I was just waiting for the link.
I literally had like 8 things on my brain that I was about to talk about, and then I was like, maybe let's go off.
Like, yeah, you go ahead. I'll talk. And then she's like,
Braden, are you going to Kaufman at all this weekend?
I'm gonna go tomorrow.
Damn.
I'm kind of upset that they didn't complete the sweep in Chicago. I know you can't win every night, but it's like, dude, you give up 2 runs. We're against one of the worst teams in baseball. Like, I feel like the offense should be able to at least scratch 2 runs.
Struggling a little bit lately outside of that Saturday game in New York. Or was it? Yeah, Saturday when they scored 11.
Yeah, I think we'll learn a lot
fine,
about this team probably over the next couple of weeks. They got Baltimore, Toronto, Detroit, Toronto, Texas.
Big stretch.
Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, objectively, they've been beating up on some shit stains, if we're being completely honest with the boys. Yeah. But you know what? That's fine, because if you tread water against good teams and you beat the teams you're supposed to, that's going to put you in contention to win the division, because this division's not very good.
Well, we used to be the team that people beat up on.
Oh, God, yeah.
All right, you guys ready for some number? It was actually a quote tweet. He quote tweeted one of your tweets.
Sweet.
So you originally said the other 3 times KU was preseason number 1 overall. You said this back in October.
Yeah, it was a dark day.
First round loss to Bucknell. Second round loss to Northern Iowa. Second round loss to Auburn. And then you updated it after the Gonzaga loss and said second round loss to Gonzaga. And Derek Johnson quote tweeted it and said, what makes this crazier is that 13 out of the last 15 preseason number 1 teams that were not Kansas made the second weekend, and 7 out of 15 of them made the Final Four. So, like, 13 of the 15 have been really good. They don't always make – I think you're more so thinking about maybe preseason or number 1 overall seeds have struggled a little bit. But, like, most of the time when you're preseason number 1, you just have a really good season. And we have yet to do that. It's crazy. Other than, I guess, Northern Iowa, that team very much lived up to the expectation and then just, got Ken Palm to death.
Yeah. Hey, before we get off, there is something I'd like to discuss with you boys.
Mm-hmm.
Massive story nationally in the sports world. I don't really have too many takes, but I asked this question to some friends the other day. What or who has broken more brains in the last decade? Is it Caitlin Clark, or is it just politics as a whole since like 2015 to now? Because it's insane. It's crazy from both sides.
Dude.
Caitlin Clark thing is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Obviously, politics has broken more brains, but like Caitlin Clark, it is crazy. It is insane. I can't believe the WNBA players that were like not supporting her. It's like, what are you doing?
Diana Taurasi.
Yeah, it's like she's the best thing. She's so exciting to watch play basketball. Like, how can there be anything other than that being talked about? I know, things like, could she, will she be a star? Like, you got to talk about those things to get views. But between all that, between Greg Doyle, just a weirdo question. Now, I thought that reached a point where it's like insanely weirdo question. And then it also just like, I felt like we like almost got, it was fun to make fun of the guy, but it was also like, oh my gosh, now we're taking it too far. Like he didn't, I don't know. But
really it's more than that too. It's like the SNL stuff. Like people were mad that South Carolina wasn't on SNL because they won the championship and Iowa lost. Guys, you're missing the point. She's about to be the number 1 pick in the draft in that city 2 days later. She's the biggest star that sport has seen. And honestly, who's the last college athlete in general Who's the last
Dude.
like that's been bigger than Caitlin Clark?
Yeah.
Zion, maybe 5 years ago. She's a giant superstar. I don't care that she lost. And then then the whole like salary thing that went around, and people just their brains broke that they don't know how business works and how revenue works. It's just like every hour I get on Twitter and I see a different Caitlin Clark tweet, and it's like, what are we doing? Like, let's just use our brains one way or another, because it's driving me nuts.
That's not allowed, AB.
No,
not
it isn't
allowed to use the brain.
Yeah,
why are we the logical ones? It's crazy.
Like at first, I thought it was weird all the stuff Taurasi was saying, but then, like, I think it was what team is Diana Taurasi on? Mercury Sun. They tweeted out pretty much a graphic of her playing against the rookie, and it was literally like it was pretty much showing that it was Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
so I was like, okay.
Drafted.
I thought it was like maybe Taurasi was just dogging on her to like hype that matchup up more, but it was like throughout the entire Final Four, they were like going at her like it's going to be a rude awakening in the WNBA. Like she's going to do nothing but help that entire league and sport.
Yeah.
Like from a viewership standpoint, from an excitement standpoint, I just don't know how you really have anything negative to say about her. And there was people that said like she can't be great until she wins a national championship. She went to fucking Iowa. She could have went to
hate that take.
Like Jay Williams obviously started with it, and yeah, it could be for views, but you expect her to just go to Iowa and single-handedly carry them to win a national title?
It was Breanna Stewart.
It was exactly. Everyone's saying it were people that went to giant fucking programs, men or women's, and were loaded with professional talent all the way around them. No shit, they're going to win championships.
And no offense to the teams that, you know, South Carolina will be remembered for a long time. They went undefeated, incredible team. But, like, in 6 months, nobody's going to remember anything other than, like, how electric Caitlin Clark was.
Exactly.
Like, sorry, but
that's why she was, like AB said, she was the talk. No matter who won the match. She was the number one pick. We've never really seen anything like her. It's like Steph.
Mm-hmm. She is, I don't know how to describe it because I don't know. It's just, and the thing about it, the Taurasi stuff and people acting like, oh, well, wait till she gets to the NBA or WNBA and plays against, no offense to her Iowa teammates were really good, but she's so good at passing. Can you imagine her with a bunch of pros around her? She's going to be unreal. Like, it's going to be
she is
awesome. So I don't know. It is such a strange thing to these women basketball players have probably been, and rightfully so, have been very frustrated at not getting paid what they want to get paid, not having the same resources, not having the same amount of promotion. And now you have Caitlin Clark, who's like single-handedly raising the game up, and people were hating on her. It was it just goes to show, like, nothing can just be good. Nothing can just be fun. No. It's always got to be controversial somehow.
That's why social media can be tough.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Just log off and life's a lot better. But even when you turn on TV, it's like, whoa, is Caitlin Clark truly great if she doesn't win a title? Like, what are we talking about? Use your eyeballs. Of course.
Is Larry Bird a great college player?
Yeah.
I mean,
Kevin Durant, not good at Texas. Didn't win a title.
Awful.
I'm not saying like every player she plays against in these runs are WNBA players or pros, but she's played against some of the best women in the sport the last 2 years, and she balls out every single time. So I don't really understand it.
I don't want to get controversial tonight, but Kyle Coffey says it's the same with LeBron and old players, right, AB?
No.
Yeah. LeBron gets hate. Like people act like LeBron couldn't handle the 80s. You kidding me?
And people say that Jordan couldn't handle now. So what are we saying,
They're
Ryan?
Stupid. They're both stupid. Okay.
You've said this.
The LeBron thing's absurd.
I've said MJ would be good in today's NBA.
Yes.
No, I haven't. Not seriously. Not serious. That would have had to have been like a
right. So
empty the clip argument at the end, as I feel like I'm losing. And Kyle just walked us right into this. God dang it.
I don't want to get into it. It's been a long enough day. I don't want to fight about fucking.
But it is the same thing. It's like people just
similarities.
like you can say MJ's better than LeBron. Sure, I can live with that. But when people act like MJ couldn't play or LeBron couldn't play in the 80s, like, give me a break.
Well, here's one thing that sides with MJ is the fact that MJ had to play with some of the lunatics that come out and say stuff nowadays should honestly put him at an unpoachable number 1 overall for the rest of time. Scottie Pippen is an insane person.
You think Rodman was?
No, he was normal.
Yeah, it's a tough scene. It's a tough scene when like overall Rodman may come out and be like the more normal guy by the end of all this. Like, what did who was the other guy on their team that said something absolutely banana land a few weeks ago?
Oh, it was the
Kukoc?
Yeah, Kukoc, Tony Kukoc.
What did he say?
You know what's funny about that?
He said Jokic wasn't very good. See, now it's the opposite of Jankovic and Yankovic. Now I'm saying Jokic because if you fucking loose. What's up?
I thought you were done. Gurley texted me earlier and was like, "Yeah, I'm in Arizona at a golf tournament with John Rahm and Tony Kukoc," and I'm like, "What?" And then he goes, "Yeah, I'm playing at Michael Jordan's course next week in Florida with Coach Self." I'm like,
"Wow, what a flex!
What a life!"
But
boys.
Yeah, I love Kukoc.
I played 88 holes of golf in 3 days in Scottsdale this weekend.
I have a burning question about that.
Mm-hmm.
How did you land at 88?
I played 18 on Friday. We played 36 Saturday. So now I'm worried my math's I'm wrong. My math's wrong.
90. Well, now I'm fucking up. 90?
No, I played 90. I played 36.
5 rounds?
36 Saturday, 36 Sunday, 18 Friday. That's 90. Tough scene. Wow. Yeah.
I just didn't know if you guys ran into some darkness on the 17th or something.
You see, if I was a liar, if I was a guy that didn't want to admit my poor math skills, I would have said, actually, no, we quit. We quit early. And I would have just pretended we played 88. But no, we played 90.
Stand-up guy.
I just thought AB was about to get really serious and start a topic. And he said, I got a burning question. How did you land at 88?
And the funny thing is, when you asked, I was like thinking like, oh, here we go, AB. It's not that hard to get to 88. And it was.
Yeah, I could tell with your facial reactions. That was your mindset.
I started doing the mental math and I was like, uh-oh. I can't spin stone my way out of this one.
Whoa. Okay. I hope you had fun.
Rye probably has to get off in like 10 minutes, but I didn't know if you guys had any NBA playoff takes or if you care, or I know AB, your team's still in it. Rye, your team, you're a Lakers fan, probably. I don't know.
I'm going to watch my first full Lakers game here soon. So
I have like three teams, so I don't really know. Like, I have to cheer for CB. I kind of have become a small Thunder fan, which I can't commit to it. I'm not saying I am. And then KJ with the Pacers, I think I'm going to Indy for like game 4 or something. So
yeah, how many courtside tickets are you going to snag from each team?
I would I would be happy if any of those teams went deep, which I think Denver AP someone
I don't think that's me.
It's either you or Ryan.
Oh, I know what it is.
Sounds like a buzzsaw going on.
Dude. Yeah, I'm gonna need a mute. Our water got shut off because of something down the road, and I think they just turned it back on. That happened in the middle of the night the other night. It was terrifying. So
was there a car wreck down the road at the end of the final or Elite 8 game?
Probably something similar to that. People forget a car took out a light pole at the very end of the Miami Elite 8 game. We were live, and a car took out a light pole.
Unfortunately,
I didn't have power for a day, so that was sick.
That sounded like a missile, dude. I
thought I was getting bombed. I was like, oh my.
Jamissel McDowell. But yeah, what do you think about Lakers Nuggets? Go ahead.
I want to ask questions about the Lakers Nuggets. Like, why are the Lakers so bad? Like, I was kind of I was looking forward to being like, oh, Lakers are going to make the playoffs and I can talk myself into them making a run. And they're just playing the Nuggets? Like, why do they suck so much?
Darvin Ham.
Is it like...
Well, this isn't a LeBron thing.
He's had a
LeBron's
good
been
season,
great,
right?
yeah.
And how's Anthony Davis been?
Good. He's played more games than
so
usual.
It's just supporting cast.
It's like D'Lo has his games. Reeves will go off. I mean, they don't guard anyone. They don't guard nobody.
Is it very much going to be like Celtics versus Nuggets finals? Is that, well, I guess Thunder are very sick, which I didn't know, but I hate them because of the AT&T commercial. I can't watch it.
Oh my God, with Chet and Shea. Yeah. Thunder will play the winner tomorrow of the Kings game. And then they'd play the winner of the Mavs Clippers. So I guess the West is kind of open, but yeah.
Turn it up.
You're live right now, so just I'll be out in a second.
And, Ryan, I've got a question about your boyfriend.
Yeah, who's that?
LeBron.
Yeah. All right.
I just find it funny that the man that was so against the play-in tournament has played in every single play-in fucking round that there's ever been.
And he doesn't lose. Steph losing.
That's fine, but I'm just
Steph
saying.
over 2.
Speaking of Steph,
Warriors are done.
Can you believe Clay over 11?
He's washed. I can't believe Orlando's going to pay him so much money this year, and they're going to regret it.
All right. I got to go. I don't know what's happening. So we'll see.
All right, boys. Well, it's a good surprise getting on.
Yeah, we can just end it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Subscribe, like, and we'll be back. 2015 Brandon Green to end the show. 2015 Brandon Green. Shout out Garrett Johnson. Commenter of the day.
In KU history.
I love it. He might be Brandon Green. But all right, that's it. Rock Chalk. I think we're still live.